Hey everyone, welcome to another Jordan JB Designs tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Thor poster. Infinity War, Thorfinity as I like to call it. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Photoshop. And so we're just going to zoom in here and show you what kind of the effect we're going to go with. That wavy line, almost like looks like it was painted. So that's the effect we're going. Here's the original image, and you know it's kind of it's actually a really cool shot. So I mean, all I'm doing is kind of adding a little bit of effects to it, punching it up a bit, and giving it a little more contrast, detail. And yeah, so we're gonna open up our document. Here's my document size. It's pretty big, 1500 by 2250, 300 resolution. Yeah, okay, so that's the size that I'm working in. You don't have to go that way. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the original photo. I'm gonna drag and drop it over onto our what we're working with. Center it up, nice and neat. And this is a step I do. You don't have to do this. This is something I do. I don't know why, but I duplicate the background layer. Hit Command J, and then I invert it, Command I. And yeah, it's just a little step that I take. I don't know why I do it, but I just do it. So now we're going to size up the image with the transform tool. And yeah, now what I'm going to do now is so what you can do is you can, if you don't want to use the smart guides, you can bring out your own guides if you want. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of select this whole image here, the original, and then I'm going to cut out just what I want to work with, which is just in the document size. So it's going to be perfectly fitted. Let's see here. So what first we're going to do is we're going to go into the camera raw filter settings, and I'm going to just adjust everything here to my liking. Again, you can go as crazy as you want. You can be subtle. I'm trying to add more contrast, more color, a little more pop to it. Totally preference and what you want to do. I'm going to add a little bit of texture just to kind of give it a little bit more when we do add that effect. Again, adding more contrast, bringing up the exposure just a little bit because there's already a lot in there, and if you do too much, then it's going to be blown out. Again, you can go with my exact settings here if you want to pause it and go with everything like that. Totally fine. Just bring up saturation, a little bit of vibrance, and everything looks good. Hit OK. And now we're going to show the difference. A little dull, a little bit more color and more life to it, if you will. Alright, next up is we're going to add that effect. So it's a couple of steps. There is an actual tutorial on how to do this effect kind of a lot better. Mine is a quick method I took from 2 different tutorials. So I'm going to show you my method. You're going to duplicate the layer, hit over to filter, down to other, and high pass. Click on that. Oops. And then you're going to hit OK. You're going to leave it radius at 2. And then hit OK. And then you're going to go down to the blend mode. And you're going to switch. You can either use overlay or linear light. Linear light will give a little more sharpness to it, but sometimes it's too much. In this case, it's pretty good. Gives it a little bit more. It's going to look some more sharp. So you're going to merge those 2 layers. Command E or Control E, sorry. Go down to filter again. Go to sharpen, unsharp mask. And you're going to bring the amount up to around 100. You can go over if the image quality is a lot better. It'll be better. Leave the radius at 2 and threshold at 0. And hit OK. I apologize if I'm going really fast. Filter again. Noise. Reduce noise. And this is going to it's going to reduce the noise. You're going to leave the strength at 10 and everything else at 0. Under basic, and then yeah, just hit OK. It'll kind of soften it a bit. And from there, we can go filter again, stylize, diffuse, and then you're gonna go down to the very bottom and where it says anatrophic. I don't know how to say that. You can select the very bottom option, then hit OK. It's gonna give it that kind of wavy look to it. There you already kind of got the basic effect. You can leave it there, but in order to make it stand out more, what we're going to do now is we're going to rotate the entire canvas. So go down to image rotation, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and you're going to do the same effect. You can just go up to filter, and then the very first option is diffuse again, so you can just do that, or hit Command or Control F. It'll do the same thing. So you can go around, turn the whole canvas around till it does it on each side, so that way you get a more uniform look. Okay, so that's the difference between before and after. You got a little bit of that painting on there, if you want to call it, but it still doesn't look like the final product. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the layer again, do kind of the same process, do another high pass filter, overlay linear light, whichever one, kind of put it on top, and then you're going to merge those two layers again. See, that adds that little bit of sharpness to it. Merge those layers, and then you're going to go back up, kind of do the same steps again. Unsharp mask, same thing, but you're going to bring down the amount to below 100 to around 80. It's what I used, but leave the radius at 2, threshold at 0. Hit OK. Filter, noise, reduce noise, all the settings stay the same. You're just kind of repeating the process to kind of give it a add to the effect. So there, but it's not quite done. What I do now is apparently I'm adding another unsharp mask. Don't know why, but I guess I just added another one. You're gonna duplicate the layer, go to filter, filter gallery, and then you go down to poster, and then under artistic, you're gonna find poster edges, and then you're gonna bring the thickness, the intensity down to 0, posterization all the way up. What this is doing is adding like kind of an outline, almost like again, more sharpness to it. So you put that layer on top, and you're going to change the blend mode to soft light. And you go down to the bottom layer, the original one, and you're going to duplicate it again. And then you're going to desaturate it. So you can go down to image, adjustments, desaturate, or you can hit Shift Command U. Go into filter gallery again, and then you're going to go under stylize and find glowing edges. Select that. Width at 1, brightness at 2, smoothness at 1. Those are the settings you want to use. Kind of gives it a, again, it's going to kind of give it more edges. Because when you do the reduce noise, it kind of blurs everything and makes it less sharp. So there we got kind of the effect that we want. Again, you can play around with all the settings. You can add different filters to it, however you want to do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just add some adjustment layers to kind of... Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a few adjustment layers just to kind of make it pop a little more. I mean, it's again, a broken record, your choice if you want to add them. I just like to do it just because it adds an extra kind of little edge, little bit more to it. And it's a kind of a staple, not a staple, but it's kind of what I do a lot now. Anyways, I add a vibrance, a little more color to it, an exposure to kind of give a little bit more contrast. I try not to up the exposure too much because, like I said, it's going to get blown out. I correct the gamma. I mean, again, you can go crazy with this, but I try to be more subtle in my approach, but you know, proceed with what you will. I'm gonna add curves, kind of doing just basically the same things, but they adjust differently. I don't know, like, again, there's probably way better people who can help you understand these things better, but this is how I use them. So in this newer one, I kind of added more color to it, more contrast, more, you know, kind of brought the darks down a little bit more than the original one I posted, and I offset it a little bit more in the original. So now what I'm going to show you is the border. The border is simple, and then after that we're going to show you how to do the titling and adding the credits, and of course your watermark or your signature, whatever it is you use. If you don't use one, then you don't have to. So we're going to create a new layer on the very top. Make sure that's selected. you're gonna reverse your colors, make sure the white is the foreground. You're gonna grab the marquee tool, M on the keyboard, select the whole document, go up to edit, stroke, make sure the color is white, the width 20, and on inside. 20 white inside. Hit OK, and hit Command D, and there you go, you got a border. Simple way. And now you're gonna add the text. So there's the font that I use, Retro Standard, I'm guessing is what it stands for. You can find it under Toolkit. If you have Photoshop, the latest version of Photoshop, you'll be able to find it. It's in there, it's free. It comes with the program. So just type out your text here. In this case, it's gonna be Infinity War. Capitalize all of it. Center it to where you want it. And so now look, on the original one, it's kind of transparent almost. So in order to achieve that effect, you're just gonna overlay it. You're gonna get 3 copies of the same layer, duplicate it, and overlay it. So you go to select your text, go to the blend mode, select overlay, and then duplicate that layer 2 times. What I had to do here is I had to bring down the exposure. Like I said earlier, it was gonna blow it out, and that's exactly what it did. So we bring down the exposure a little bit, and that's why I use adjustment layers, so that way it's not set. You can go back and adjust it again. So there we go. Now we have that cool effect where the text kind of blends in with the image. Again, there's the font and the settings that I use for the logo, for the text. If you want to leave it as a solid color, that's totally fine too. Oh my gosh. All I'm doing here is adding my watermark. That's just so if people want to repost it, they can. It's just, hopefully they credit me. If not, then bam, there's my watermark right in your face. So what I did now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I get the basically the credits from the actual movie poster. There we go. I'm going to bring up the actual Infinity War poster. This cluttered craziness here. Make sure it's pretty good quality. I'm going to select just the text on the bottom. Ooh, there we go. Get the move tool, move it over to my poster. Center it underneath Infinity War. Make sure it's nice and aligned. Now I'm going to desaturate the whole thing. Again, image adjustments, desaturate, or Shift Command U, depending on what you're using. Then you use screen blend mode, but you can't see it. So you hit Command I to reverse it to make the letters dark, and then you change the blend mode to multiply. And see how I got these little rough edges because the background is there, and I'm just adjust it to where they're not as visible. Play around with it, kind of see where it looks better. And after a while, those kind of grungy looks will blend in with the poster pretty well, with the rest of the background pretty well. And I just get a soft brush and kind of brush out the hard edges so that way it's not super obvious. And just, adjust and play around. And then seeing this text right here is just too dark, so I'm going to select it. I'm using the lasso tool just because I didn't want to try to precisely. And then you're going to bring up the brightness so that way it's not as in your face as as it was, a little more subtle. And that's how I get those on there. It's not as easy sometimes because sometimes it's got a crazy background, but pretty easy stuff. And then again, if another step is if you want to add the Marvel Studios logo, which I always do just because, I don't know, it makes it look more like an actual poster. So that's that. Here's the final result that you want. It's what I got. It's what I ended up with. I say way too much. This is kind of how I've been working with my posters lately. It's just giving it that that painted feel. Alright everybody, I want to thank you for joining me with this tutorial. But also I want to apologize if I am moving super fast. The way I have to do these is I have to record the screen and I kind of work through and do all this. I try my best to go slow, but it's probably a lot easier if I record both my voiceover and the screen at the same time, but it's hard to because it just is. Logistically, I can't really do it. So I have to record the screen, then come over and record the voiceover. So I'm trying to keep up with the screen and try to, I remember the steps, I remember everything I got to do. It's just sometimes I'm not in line with the screen, so then I start to talk really fast. So I apologize for the quickness of it. Again, if you are here for like an in-depth look at Photoshop, I would not recommend watching my tutorials just because they're a little more, I kind of jump in right away, and I would love to explain like the tools that I use and why I use them. So in a future episode, if that's something you would like to know, then I'll do that. Anyway, I got it. This is a tutorial that I'm dropping on my birthday. Yes, October 30th is my birthday. I'm actually recording this the day before. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. Again, I super apologize for the speed of it. I am trying to get better at it. Don't worry, it's gonna be better. That's all. This is all we gotta do, right? If you want to learn Photoshop, you gotta improve. And I'm improving on this, I hope. So that's that. Thank you for watching. New tutorial also again on Friday. Don't forget to check out the podcast, Jordan JB Talk. Follow me on Instagram, Jordan James B. If you use this technique, tag me in your pictures, your posts, whatever it may be you use it for. I would like to see it. That'd be awesome. Thank you again. All the plugs at the end. Follow, like, all of them. All right, everybody. Be a good buddy. Peace out for now.